Well, again, I'm Kyle Fortune here, standing in for Lee Sibley on Nineworks Television. You may remember I jumped into the driver's seat of the 911 GT3 RS recently at Silverstone. We're here today to try something a little bit different, which is this car here, which won't have escaped your attention. It's Porsche's latest 911 derivative. Now, if anything shows the bandwidth of Porsche's ability to stretch the 911 genre to the extreme ends of the sporting spectrum, this is the car. This is the Dakar, a car which has been widely rumoured as a safari car, but I believe that some name dispute with Tata meant that Porsche had to have a bit of a last minute name change. And the Dakar is based on the 911 GTS, so it's basically running the same 3-litre turbocharged engine, and similarly, given its increased ride height, which is around 50mm and can be a little bit higher as well, it's actually only 10 kilograms heavier than the GTS. Now, Porsche's achieved that by being quite clever with some parts bin sharing. So the keen-eyed among you will notice that this is the bonnet from the GT3. Up here is quite an interesting thing. We have a little power outlet. You'll have seen lots of pictures of Dakars with a roof rack on it with a lighting strip, which gives it a very cool off-road look. You've obviously got the larger wheels and tyre package. This comes as standard with all-season tyres. Porsche has also developed summer tyres and also a full proper winter set of tyres. One of the other things, nice little touch here, they've got the painted tow hook, which is front and rear. And you know, overall, it just looks incredible. You know, the 911 is such an amazing platform, and lots of people have been doing this sort of thing to 911s for a long time. And this is the first time that Porsche's actually really marketed its own off-road derivative of the 911. One of the things that's really impressive about the 911 is just how competitive it is across all different spectrums of motorsport. Inside, you lose the rear seats as standard, but however, it's very similar to the GT3 in the way it's finished inside. We've got bucket seats in this one. It's a lovely, lovely thing. We've been driving it here, not on sand and sun, but cold and snow, but it's proved itself very impressive indeed. Porsche's obviously done some stuff to the electronic driver control, so we now have a rally mode and a sport mode and an off-road mode. Now they all tune the four-wheel drive system to push either a bit more power to the back, and also allow the stability control systems to give a little bit more slip. Now I played around with it earlier and I'll do a little bit in the car shortly. If you put it in rally, it pushes a little bit more to the back. If you put it in off-road mode, it gives a little bit more traction and grip in particularly slippy situations. I was astonished at how good fun it's been here today. We've been following Walter Roll and Jörg Bergmeister around some ice tracks, and they're going to both take us out for a little drive later on to show us how it can be driven when it's driven by somebody who's very talented. However, I'm going to get in the car shortly and take it for a drive, and hopefully you'll join me there. Okay, so I'm in the car now, having been stood outside freezing cold, so excuse the big heavy jacket and hat, but it is pretty chilly here. We're in Austria, just up the road from Zell at an ice driving place, and we're experiencing the Dakar for the first time. I'm just in normal mode at the moment. We're on winter tyres, which gives us a remarkable amount of grip around here, given that I'm essentially driving on sheet ice and with a bit of snow on top. But what I will do in a second is I'll start messing around with those settings. So we're in normal mode at the moment. Let's just pop it into manual for the gearbox. I'm told that rally pushes a little bit more to the rear, and you can immediately feel that. It gives a little bit more slip and allows me to play around a little bit more, but I can still feel it doing what it needs to do to keep me on the straight and narrow. You can feel it working its magic, fiddling the brakes, pushing the power to the wheels that need it the most. It's really impressive, really impressive. Oh, this is off-road. Now the off-road's apparently for dune surfing and rough surfaces, and it gives more emphasis on traction, so this should feel a bit more neutral than rear driven. And certainly does, you know, I mean, yes, it's going to slide around, of course it is, we're on snow and ice here, but it turns in, it feels a little bit more sure-footed. I was chatting to Mr. Walter Roll earlier about it, he suggested the best one is sport mode, which I'm going to put on, which pushes a lot more power rearwards, as you immediately feel it there, and to take a brave pill and put it into PSM Sport. So we've still got a bit of support from the stability management, but a lot less, put it that way. It means you can really start to mess around like there. It's a bit of allows me to throw the car around a lot more, be a lot more aggressive with it, but still have the feeling that it's helping me out. It's such good fun. I mean, if you've never ever driven a car on ice, you've got to do it. It's so much fun. It's such good fun. It's fun in any car, but in something like this, which is Porsche's answer to off-road sports car, it's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. What a giggle. As I alluded to earlier on when we were outside the car, it's basically a GTS. So 480 horsepower from a 3-litre turbocharged engine. 4-wheel drive, obviously. It comes with no rear seats. Can't have it with rear seats because the system that allows the suspension to be raised at the rear as well as the front, the pump's actually where the rear seats are. So this is very much a 1+1, you know? But what a giggle. I mean, I like winter sports, I love skiing, and in my parallel wealthy universe, I've got one of these, and I've got a roof rack on the top with some skis. There's a little jump there. Actually, one of the things I was told in the press conference was that it's got GT3 engine mounts, and they've used that specifically for that situation there. So when you're going over a bump, it immediately ties the engine down and helps prevent it shifting around. This whole idea of a rally or a safari 911 was originally brought up with the 991 series, but it didn't happen. Apparently the people within the company took a bit of persuasion that this was the way forward, and it just goes to show the incredible bandwidth with the 911. You know, it really is staggering that you've got something like the GT3 RS at one end, you've got any number of Carreras, whether it's a T all the way through to the GTS, and you've got turbos, you've got cabrios, Targas, you know, and I just think this is just Porsche having a bit of fun, you know. Not without historical, you know, merit. You know, they've got a history of rallying cars, so why not, you know? One of the things they mentioned during the press conference was that when they were developing this, they went out with the people from the Cayenne, and on a sandy dune where they run the Cayenne up one of the really steep hills, because this car's lighter and lower, it got further than the Cayenne, and as you can see, the slip angles are getting a little bit bigger as I get braver, and that's normally when things go wrong. So I'm going to call it a day there. One last little jump, and I'll say cheerio to the Dakar for now. But what we are going to do shortly is see what it can really do. I've just been messing around. I mean, these sort of conditions make anybody look half decent. So what separates the likes of me from World Rally champions and race winners is real talent. So we're going to cut to me in the car with Jörg Bergmeister or Walter Roll on studded tyres to see what it can really do. So we'll see you in a minute, but I'll be sitting in the other seat.
This bonus content featuring the majestic Walter Roll at the wheel of the new 911 Dakar is available now exclusively to members of our 9works Driven Not Hidden collective. Join the world's fastest growing Porsche community and unlock a host of cool rewards across our podcast, YouTube, events and industry partners to take your Porsche fanaticism to the next level. To join, simply visit patreon.com/9works, or for more information, visit 9works.co.uk.